feeling. Well, pick up, and welcome to the 12th Man Show. We are broadcasting live and direct to all our Reds out there. It is going to be a lovely day because we don't have to worry about much other than players possibly leaving, contracts being signed, things to be worked out with relations with our coach and the likes. That's okay. We've got each other, and that's what it's supposed to be about. And it's about supporting each other to the fullest, and also trying to have a conversation just to get through the good times and the bad times. So, but we've got a bunch to talk about today. Definitely a bunch to talk about. I know that a lot of you might be wondering what the thoughts are on the FA Cup. Maybe even some thoughts on some of the news that you've been hearing, at least. But let me make sure I have my tabs all set up here. But I can tell you this: there's been a lot that's been said lately, and it's been an interesting little journey. It's about loyalty, it's about timing, it's about whether this club is transitioning intelligently or maybe even drifting emotionally. I know I've seen some pieces. I saw a very good piece by Lawrence McKenna, actually. That was a very interesting take. That some of it, I'd say 80% of it I agree with, or close to 90% I agree with, 10% I don't, but still all the same. We've drawn Wolves twice in 1 week. We've got pundits out there like Sherwood saying that it is 100% a surety that Salah will leave. I don't know about that, but still the same. We've got Alexis McAllister linked to Manchester United, which should never even be a sentence in the English language, I think, but it is something that we're going to talk about. And also, I even broke down something I saw because I watched ESPN FC quite a bit, and I got the privilege of seeing one of our own, Steve Nicol, suggest that the FA Cup literally could decide Arne Slot's future. I think there's more involved than just the FA Cup that will decide Arne Slot's future with the team. But I'll give you Steve Nicol, his approach towards his opinion, I guess, that's the best way to put it, on the topic, and I'll give you my own, and also love to hear yours. And here's the tension that we're all wrestling with, possibly. As you know, we've all pledged our support to this club, but it doesn't mean that you have blind support for a vision that is possibly unsure for long-term success. So you have to incorporate some type of questions, or at least bring into the conversation about what's the direction of the club, what are the ideals, or what are the basic virtues of the club, and a lot of them have been put on question lately. So I'm going to unpack it all properly, hopefully with you alongside. If you're watching on the replay, big up to you. If you found us on X, fantastic. I know we're having some problems. Apparently, X has some problems with StreamYard, so hopefully you see the link or you saw the post and you're joining us now. But I'm just going to get right into it with you guys. And let's also see who's in the chat. Pick up John Conway. Pick up. Been a little while, but it's great to see you as always. Let's see. And of course, hi, Laura. Shout out to our German correspondent, giving us the updates as always. 5-2 Juventus has just lost to Galatasaray. Okay. Somewhat surprising result in the Champions League. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the past. Yes. Okay. I get what you're saying. But let me get this all my windows all straight here. Usually I have this set up, but now with this new format, they have something different with the way to have it. You're able to go through it. But all right, let's just get into it with you. All right, all right. The big question, I guess, is who are we getting in the FA Cup? And that's, of course, big because a lot of us were expecting us to possibly, or hoping that we would get someone like someone from a division below, but we didn't. We got another Premier League team. Premier League team is probably trying to make something of a effort to get not only in Europe, because an FA Cup win or FA Cup title does get you an opportunity to go to Europe, but we've we've drawn Wolves actually. We've drawn Wolverhampton Wanderers in FA Cup fifth round. I don't know if everyone's super stoked about that. I would have been happier if it was a home game than it is a away game, but it is all the same. We're going to the Molyneux. We were ball number one, I believe, in the draw. And the twist of it is that we play Wolves on March 3rd in the Premier League, then go back to the Molyneux the following weekend for the Cup. So we faced them in the Premier League, and then we faced them again at home or at their home in the Cup. Two trips, same stadium, obviously different stakes. It's a question of what it's going to do to our opportunities to hold on to this top four race, and also it's going to have an opportunity for us to possibly advance in the FA Cup. What is kind of reassuring is that we have won our last 6 meetings with Wolves. That's important to note. Wolves currently sit bottom of the Premier League. Only one league win all season. They beat Grimsby, who also beat Manchester United to get here, by the way. So Grimsby beat Manchester United, and then Grimsby played Wolves, and then Wolves beat Grimsby 1-0 to reach this stage. On paper, it's definitely favorable, I would say that. But in reality, no away fixture in the Premier League is something that you should look forward to, other than the nostalgia of going to see a new venue. Other than that, there's really not much you want to connect to an away fixture in the Premier League, much less in the FA Cup League, FA Cup as well. So nothing is straightforward for this Liverpool side. We all know that. We all have seen our ups and downs. But certainly it looks like, I wouldn't say we turned the corner, but it definitely looks like we are starting to pick up momentum, hopefully at the right time. We're going to need this nice little stretch. I predicted 4 wins, 1 draw in the stretch. If we can get 5 wins, that'll be fantastic. It'll be actually beyond fantastic. It'll be, I think, a needle mover in our opportunity to solidify getting back in and being chased as opposed to being the chaser in this run. Elsewhere, you have Manchester City and Newcastle United. I think that's going to be possibly the biggest fixture or biggest highly contested fixture on the of the FA Cup fifth round. Then you have Mansfield Town versus Arsenal. A little bit of should be a little bit of a walk for Arsenal, despite having to go to Mansfield Town. We'll see about that. And then we have Wrexham versus Chelsea, which is very interesting because I saw a clip. Ryan Reynolds very stoked about getting Chelsea. He actually was the team he wanted to get in this draw. And not only was it the team he wanted to get, but he was happy to know that they're going to be playing at home, which can make a difference. So maybe Wrexham can pull the upset. Who knows? Who knows? That'll probably be my early spoiler. My pick for that game will be probably Wrexham, to be honest with you. But we'll see. We'll see. As we get closer to the fix my mic there. As we get to the fixture list, we'll see who you have to pick. But let's see if I have any comments. Wolves is by far the weakest team in the Prem. Tyler would say that Wolves are even weaker than several of the teams in the championship win all season in the Prem. That's true. Very, very true. Big up to Nems. Big up, Nems. How are you? Good to see you, my red. Let's see. This week, there is something. The Premier League has put a effort to respect Ramadan, which starts this week, and that is something that affects the form of those players following it, as Hyler is putting. Those are his words. And he's right. Ramadan is going to be have an effect on players. We know we have some players of the Muslim faith that that do obviously practice earnestly and wholly in their efforts to keep to the practices of Ramadan, and that means obviously the fasting and the likes. So it is going to be a situation, but you never know. I know Mane, for instance, used to play sometimes better when Ramadan was happening, so we'll hopefully have, players not too awkwardly affected by those, obviously giving recognition to the holiday. Oh man, but there is a serious question. I know we're talking about the FA Cup, and it is a question of, is this competition going to save Slot's job? Or is Slot's job even on? Is it even on the chopping block, basically? It's a real question. We're going to deal with that. But first, let's just talk about another player that might be moving on too, and that is Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah, I thought, looked really good against Brighton, in that there's clips, like after watching it back, especially, you saw a little bit more of his normal self, being quick to the ball, being showing pace, being assertive with his passing, obviously putting in whatever he can with scoring and obviously assisting. Big up Norm, by the way. Big up. Getting an assist, he got a penalty won. He obviously scored the penalty. But there are some that think that Salah is on his way out. Now, do I think that he's on his way out? It's a very big question. But former Spurs boss Tim Sherwood, I saw in an article, believes that he is 100% going to leave the club in the summer. And I will admit that at times there have been actions by this club that showed Liverpool acting as if he's leaving, as if they agree he's leaving. I know the recruitment talk is now that there's a short list of wingers. I know there's Michael Olise, Yan Diomande, Bradley Barcola. Seeing big names like that is no coincidence. That's certainly preparation. And it's a big question mark of whether these players are going to be, they're never going to be able to, quote unquote, fully fill his shoes. But the hard truth is this: Mohamed Salah is 34 years old. It might not be easy to hear, but it is the truth. Saudi offers are massive. They're going to be good. And FSG loves smart timing, despite what people might say. I get that there are parts of the season or parts of seasons past where you've seen players leave on freeze or players leave unexpectedly. And it splits the fan base, certainly. And I think this has split the fan base as well as to whether you are wanting Salah to stay. And I don't think anyone's wanting him to go. I shouldn't put it that way. But if you're accepting of him, of the fact that he could go, or you are wanting him to stay in whatever capacity it'll be going forward with him. And that's just a thing. Cash in, or he's a legend. Let him go out the right way, on his terms. No one, again, is going to replace his output. No one's going to replace the status and reliability of what this player brings. And there's always going to be something to be held on to. But I agree. There are some statements being put into the chat. And I'll agree. Salah might be 34 years old, but not in body. Still first in training and last to leave. Agreed. He is determined to be that guy. I was thinking. Norm says he was thinking the other day regarding if we would go for a left-footed winger who comes off the right. He watched Minta against us. He's not sure on him. Obviously, a talent, maybe a bit more growth to go. And Cedric is saying big up. How you doing, Cedric? Big up also to JK that's joining us as well. How you doing, JK?
I'm all good, bro. What you saying?
Pretty much just enjoying the day here. And talking a little football with our lads here, with our fellow Red brethren. Get into a couple different comments and subjects. We already talked about the Wolves FA Cup fixture, or the fact that we're going to FA Cup fixture. And then we're talking about, I guess, somewhat the elephant in the room, which is Salah might be Salah's last act. And that is a wild one to say, but is it time to possibly cash in? Or is it time to just, double down, allow for Salah to stay and possibly get another year out of him?
At the end of the day, bro. Shout out to Lee, Cedric, Norman, Helio. Hope you all cool, guys. Hope you all cool, man. If at the end of the day all parties are happy, for me, Salah has to be happy. That's my main thing. I don't want him to feel like we're just chucking him away. Like a lot of fans said they would have done. So yeah, Helio, tell Slot that. Helio, tell Slot that. Yeah. Look, for me, man, Salah the other day, goal, assist. He's been getting things, numbers, assists, whatever. He's involved. For me, I'll keep him. I ain't got no problem with Salah. He's getting paid well. He loves playing for the club. And I think his game against Brighton was probably his best game the other day. All season.
Big up, Lee. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks, mate. Hope everyone's good. Yeah, there's been an upset in Mo's fortunes the last couple of games, hasn't there? He's found it a little bit easy. I mean, specifically the Brighton game, but before that he had a couple of assists as well, I think. So there's been a little bit of upturn in his fortunes. It's up to the team really to perform at a standard that allows them to play well. But it's also up to the opposition a little bit. Like it was a little bit different against Brighton in that him and Cody got a bit more joy on the flanks, didn't he? He got a little bit more room to play in, which is what we all hoped for before the match, you know, given the way that Brighton play. So we just got to see what happens in the upcoming games now, really.
Would you cash in? Would you cash in?
Probably knowing the way
Saudi Arabia comes out and says, "Here's 80 million for," which is a little bit over what probably we would get, but let's just say they bid a little bit extra just so that they can make sure that we're not only happy, but that that we try to push the
transfer
through. 80 million. Are you making that? Are you going to Salah and having a conversation?
It's a good number when we consider we paid 30-odd million for him, and he's gave his best years. So, like mathematically and but financially, business-wise, it's a no-brainer, bro. Even though he's like one of my favorite ever Liverpool players. But if he says he wants to stay and play for the club, play Champions League, get top goal scorer, I have no problem with that. I ain't them type of fans who say, use and let go sort of fans. I don't like that. How can you love someone one day and then the next day you don't care, like sell him and all that crap? At the end of the day, business-wise, that is the only reason why I would do it. Other than that, what's the reason, bro? Because I don't mind keeping Salah.
Okay. How about for you, Lee?
I suppose it depends on the deal and how all parties feel in the summer. If it's the right deal, like, I won't be bothered. I won't be angry. But paradoxically, if he was to stay and we could get more out of him for another season, and the team was playing better, let's say next season we had a better season, which would help the players shine a bit more, then I wouldn't be against it. But if we get the right deal and knowing the way football works, and they're budgeting like for wages and all that, like knowing the way that works, if you get the right offer, you probably will let go in the summer. But it'll take the right offer. You won't just throw him away. You know what I mean? You won't just give him away. Still has value.
Yeah, I would hope so. Hope that they see it that way. But 80 million, still no taker. That's not a good enough deal for you?
80 million is a lot, I mean, we paid less than half that, didn't we? It was just under 40, I think, what we paid all them years ago. It's nearly 10 years now, isn't it? Like, about 10 years now.
Yeah, 9 years counting. 9 years and counting.
Yeah. Long time, like, isn't it? We've had a lot of use out of them. But we'll have to see how it goes now. Have we had a little upturn here in our form? Can we play better on a regular basis? Well, we've got to. If we want Champions League football, we've got to play regular on a regular. Sorry, but got to play better on a regular basis if we want Champions League football now. And hopefully that'll facilitate an upturn in form for a number of the players that have struggled. Especially the wide players. It's not just Cody and Mo both struggled this season to make an impact from them wide positions. And a lot of it's just been down to the change in personnel and change in philosophy. It's not like his philosophy's changed outright, Slot, but he has approached it differently this season, hasn't he? The way games are. We've been a bit more slower and deliberate this season, which seems to have not helped Cody and Mo at times. So if we can come out of that, if we can transition beyond that, then there's a future for both players.
Yeah. Just wondering what the chat is feeling on that one. If you think, if you have a number, tell us what your feelings are on this rumor about it might be Salah's final chapter in the Liverpool playing book, exactly, for us, active playing book. Of course, he'll come back as a legend at some point for us as well. But I just mean like as in maybe this is his last chapter of Arnie Slot. Maybe that's the case. But just wondering if you guys had an opinion on it.
Yeah, just like that's why I don't really like talking about the future in with players. Right now, we've got a full menu. Where Salah goes next season, that's next season's problem. You know what I mean? Right now, it's like I've seen some thumbnails in the last days, bro. McAllister, he's going. And what's the other one? McAllister, Salah, and like if McAllister wants to go, that's his choice. Yeah. But it's the time and place to do it. Right now, being at the time. The time ain't right now to do that. For me, talking about where the players go next year, we've had this Kanate topic for bloody years. For years, man, it's been doing my head in. Kanate is going to Madrid. Kanate is going to Madrid. Like, I don't give a damn. Right now, he plays for Liverpool. If he wants to go to Madrid in the summer, that's his choice. But right now, he plays for Liverpool. Stop talking about it. You know?
I get that.
Footballers have social media, so they're going to read idiots typing. If he wants to go, that's his choice, man.
But even so,
isn't
it sometimes with what Norm is saying, and just the question of like he says he would accept 80 million because of how we are run. We have to think what we need and how we pay for it. But what a player he has been for us, in the sense of not any disrespect to trying to push him out the door or anything like that. Just more so saying like. At some point for all players, for the most part, you'll come to a day where you're going to have a conversation where you're going to have to start having a conversation to even prepare yourself for the eventual exit of that player. 80 million is quite a bit. I'm just saying that's a number that I would say that I would think would be a reasonable number for Mohamed Salah. At least going to Saudi Arabia would have to be enormous, and he's going to prosper financially immensely by going there. They're supposedly going to pay him three to four times his current wages, and that alone is mind-boggling. But again, way that we work is we're not necessarily, I wouldn't go as far as to say we're buy to sell, but I mean, we're very close to that structure in the sense of self-sustaining. So we have to have these conversations at times about players, even some that we're going to have to figure out, okay, well, we want to make improvements in this area, or we want to certainly create something of a fail-safe in this area, in the sense of, he's 34 years old. It's long as Virgil van Dijk. I would love for them to play until they're 50 years old or whatever. But the reality of it is that you have to be prepared for that next move. And the way that we get a player of a Mo Salah level or virtual level is by selling sometimes players that we might not necessarily want to sell, but have to sell simply because of the way that we move. So it is a tough conversation to have. It is a tough conversation to have, and one that I don't think any of us want to necessarily take on. And I think that if anything, I agree with what JK has to say, in that obviously you support the player as long as he's wearing a red kit, you support the player for our club. As long as he's wearing that badge, you support him. But how do they mitigate it at Liverpool with Ramadan? It's brutal. You're back to Ramadan. We're going to see. We're going to see if he can keep up the level of play that we've seen a hint of at Brighton. I'm hoping that he can. I believe that he will, but we will see. We will see. Well, I'll tell you another player that JK did just mention that is in the in the headlines, and that is a report claims that Alexis McAllister is on Manchester United's shortlist. I know, I will say this, breathe everyone, I understand. I'm not saying that he is assuredly going to our rival, but direct transfers between Liverpool and United are rare, if at all, happen, or rarely, if at all, ever happen. I'm sure some of us know the last direct, only because it's probably a trivia question that you've been asked 17 times. But do you know the last player that was transferred between Manchester United and Liverpool?
That's a tough one. I can't think. Last player that moved from Liverpool to United or the other way around. Cannot think.
Okay. Do you have a guess, JK?
I can't think.
I can't even read. Between them and us, yeah? Just like Michael Owen, he was at Newcastle, he went there, didn't he?
Exactly. So Michael Owens is via Madrid and Newcastle. And then you can't say Paul Ince because that was, I think he played for, I want to say Inter.
Yeah, Inter. Yeah. Is that right? Phil Chisnell?
Yes, it is right. Do you know what year it was?
Oh. 80s?
No.
80s?
1964.
Bloody hell.
Yep, 1964. But it was, there are some thoughts about how things have been going for Macca at Liverpool. I think people have really, it's interesting. I don't know if this is like generated because of the tone of some Liverpool fans towards Macca, but there's no real world, especially now, that you could think of where Liverpool are going to strengthen Manchester United, especially in the state that they're in. They're a team that we're actually fighting to get top four against currently. The last thing you're going to do is strengthen their team by giving them a solution to some of their problems in McAllister. So I think it's highly improbable. You never say never. That's what James Bond says, at least. But it does say something, the fact that this article even exists. I know his dad kind of, calmed the waters a little bit, but it is a unique question. And why I'm bringing up this is because it does bring a little bit of sentiment about what is the level of loyalty we expect out of players these days, and is the concept of loyalty to team, is the concept of loyalty to our own loyalty to the players being a part of our team changing. It's a unique question, a very unique question. Again, Lawrence McKenna brought up a segment that he was basically talking about players are going to leave, and there's going to be players that some of us love and don't want to see go, but are leaving. And it's now a case where, is football changing in that players are so interchangeable that this whole concept of loyalty is maybe a naivety. Maybe it's us being naive to think that players and clubs are going to be loyal. Look, we're talking about, and why I'm bringing this up again is because not only is it with McAllister, not only is it with this talk about Salah, those are two different. Salah is at a stage of his career where that question is going to be brought up. McAllister, not so much. Curtis Jones, not so much. But yet these players are players that are, quote unquote, possibly going to be moved on from. And especially with Curtis Jones. Do you think that this is where this is the trend that is starting to emerge in the Premier League or in Europe in general, or football in general, where there is less assurances of football players having loyalties to the clubs? What are your thoughts, Lee?
A little bit more than was the case in the past, I think. There's a little bit less loyalty than there once was. There is still loyalty, though. It's just not as common as it once was, like for, players to stay at one club all the time and all that type of thing. Like Stuart Gerrard, like, and stay pretty much the entire of your career.
I mean, it's just interesting. I mean, for me, fans demand loyalty from players, but social media loyalty to players is paper thin, if you ask me. Like as in one bad performance, and all of a sudden that player is sell him. Oh, he's washed. He's a donkey. He's this. He's that. And it's like, then we get shocked when we hear rumors about a player maybe running to go elsewhere, or a player maybe looking for new pastures. I just think accountability works both ways. You brought up Gerrard. There was points where he was actually thinking of going to Chelsea, and it was not a comfortable conversation to have, I'm sure.
I don't think it would have happened, Gerrard. I just had a funny feeling he won't go.
Okay. Well, history definitely proves you right, but I know that he did like Jose Moreno, though. He would not have minded playing for him.
Yeah, we all know that, but yeah, he changed his mind in the end, didn't he, and stayed. But I mean, it must have been a big carrot for him, the way Mourinho was winning everything and that, like, league-wise anyway. And he would have been a good boss to play for, I'm sure, and would have loved Gerrard if he could have got him. But yeah, that's becoming a little bit of thing of the past now, where players spend the entirety of their career at one club. I mean, he did go to LA, didn't he? But like he was pretty much like done by it. We'd used up everything we could of him, couldn't we? Like,
yeah. Norm says he doesn't demand loyalty from a player, but what he doesn't like is a player kissing the badge, saying he gets us and can only see himself playing for us. Just don't do that if you don't mean it. And the key players he brings up are the Trent and El Nino.
Yeah, there's a few that have gone down that road, like of kissing the badge a lot of the times, like only to walk away. And you can't really say that when they kiss the badge, they don't mean they don't love the club. It's just that they don't love the club that much to stay when a big offer comes in.
Yeah. Well,
and that's why when I see fans moan about Salah and Virgil's form, I'm thinking these guys could have came to us for 2 years and shot it off anywhere. They could have gone anywhere. They stayed. Virgil stayed. Never ever once did Virgil's name get connected to any other club. Why? Because players let information out when they're not happy, and they will allow their agent or media to know that, Real Madrid are interested, or Barcelona, whatever it is, Bayern Munich. And these guys have never ever done that. Salah has, because he's the best in the world and stuff. But Virgil hasn't.
Yes. Yeah,
It's never come to it, has it? With Virgil, he's always been, pardon me, steadfast in his loyalty to Liverpool since he came here. There hasn't been a lot of bids, but do you remember even last season when we beat Real Madrid 2-0 and they were linked with Virgil and Gravenberch? And they asked Virgil after the match, he said, he going to Madrid, and he said, they've already got a lot of centre-backs, haven't they? Rudiger, Militao. And there was a brilliant answer from him. He said, they've already got centre-backs, I think.
They do.
Very, very droll the way he did it anyway.
They do. Well, then I'll ask you this. I saw this piece by actually, let me bring it up here. I saw a piece on ESPN FC. ESPN covers the FA Cup on this side of the pond, for instance, and FA Cup is, in Steve Nichols' opinion, he believes the FA Cup could save Slot's job. Now, are you going to agree? He says win Wembley. It's an easier decision for FSG, basically. If you miss the Champions League, still might survive because of the FA Cup silverware in the locker.
I couldn't see the FA Cup keeping him in his job if he missed out on Champions League. But that's just me. I couldn't see that happening. If we did miss out on it and he won the FA Cup, I'm not sure how much the FA Cup would jazz the owners. You know, when we'd be missing out on the Champions League. Or it'll definitely help him keep his job if he wins it and we were to qualify for the Champions League. Then that will help him to keep his job. And then we've got to go again next season, haven't we? And put our faith in him again. That next season he will get it right and we'll be out of this transition that we've had this season and back to being a side that wins game after game in the Premier League on a regular basis.
Isn't that more important? Isn't it? It's not about. We all saw what Erik ten Hag basically did with Manchester United in winning the League Cup and winning the FA Cup, and those wins were associated to him being able to keep his job, despite the fact that Manchester United did not look like they were on the right trajectory. Right?
That's right, yeah, that's right. Ferguson himself was kept in his job in 1990 by winning the FA Cup. If he hadn't won that against Palace, he was rumoured, it was pretty much what we found out now. He was going. He'd had enough of him in 90 because he hadn't won bugger all after 4 years. That saved his job. It saved Ten Hag's, but it was virtually when that season kicked off, after he won the FA Cup, United, the next season when it kicked off, they were in terrible form, weren't they? It didn't give them anything to, I've seen teams win the FA Cup and go on from that. Like Everton in 84 won it and then won the league in 85 and 87, and that was all off the back of winning the FA Cup against Watford. Andy Gray and who's the other one? I forget the other one. Elton John crying in the stands and all that. Did make it bounce onto the league, though, and then to a second league in 3 years. So it is a thing. It was more of a thing winning the FA Cup. Could really give a team pep, but it's not the tournament it was now in terms of status and where you are as a club. That was a terrible season for Ten Hag once it kicked off after him winning the FA Cup against City the previous May. It wasn't long before he was sacked, wasn't it?
True. They talk about King Kenny. You're talking about Kenny?
When? Kenny what?
Oh, I thought you were talking about King Kenny. Norm brought that up about they sacked King Kenny. They sacked Kenny for winning League Cup and reaching the FA Cup final, but not getting top 4. Trudon thinks that the league, the league game versus Wolves will mean more than the cup game. FSG would rather get 3 points than go through the next round. Champions League qualifying is everything these days.
It is almost everything. It's almost everything. You still need to win the odd domestic trophy. So if you can't be in the Champions League, whatever. But it is pretty much everything now.
Really
the amount of money that's in it, the prestige. I mean, I never thought for a second in the summer after we spent up and won the league that we'd be struggling to qualify for it. In fact, I remember laughing about the 5th place spot, saying they never had that years ago when we needed the 5th place spot. We don't need that now. That's what Chelsea say or United. And here we are scrapping for that very 5th spot, the last spot available. We can definitely do it though.
And let's be real now. It's not really the Champions League, it's the European League. Let's be real now. You've got fucking donkey teams like Newcastle and that Tottenham participating. It's the European League. I don't really call it the Champions League.
Newcastle playing Karabag, aren't they? That seems like Karabag, no offence, mate. But that's a crazy one to have them in the knockout. Well done to Karabag for getting to the knockout stages, but it's the back and beyond, isn't it? Football in terms do you remember Anzi Makakalala, the Russian team that had loads of money for a bit? I think they even bought maybe William when William first come to. He comes to Russia and then went to what was the other one? The Ukrainian one, I think he went to.
Yeah, they wear mustard like a brown colour kit, don't they? What they called?
Shakhtar Donetsk, wasn't it?
Shakhtar, that's the
Donetsk.
Yeah. It's true, Norman, bro. I don't really pay attention to no YouTubers, drama queens, a lot of them. I ain't going to support Liverpool. I'm taking a year off. Carry on, bro. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Jokers.
Well, this is about
Spurs give I thought Spurs give the Super Cup a good go this season. PSG had to wait until very late to win the Super Cup. I've always liked the Super Cup. Our last one, obviously, was Chelsea, wasn't it?
Do you think that if Thomas Frank had won the Super Cup, they would have held on to him a little bit longer?
They would have loved to go, the Spurs fans, and it would have annoyed the Arsenal fans to add to the Europa League with a Super Cup. I mean, their trophies have never seen Arsenal win either of them. They won the Cup Winners' Cup, Arsenal, didn't they? Which is now defunct and barely worth talking about because it's been over 25 years since disputed it.
And just going on about that, when you look at football, a lot of talk is about teams and clubs that, for me, I don't even take serious. And they're not really talking about winners here. Everyone forgot about Liverpool, the champions. Everyone's talking about Arsenal and who cares about Arsenal really? Let's be serious now. These guys have won a corner and that's all they've won in the last 10, 15 years. That's about it, bro. And they're talking about these guys are top dogs. They've run the football for years, these guys. Come on, man. The only thing they're good at, FA Cup, they've won it 13 times and that's about it. But they're talking about these guys they're Galacticos, man. These are the team. They don't even talk about Liverpool in this manner. And Liverpool are the top dogs in England. Sorry to say, but they are. We're champions right now, even. You know what I mean?
No.
So what's going on in football? And I'm sick of it.
Just aren't they in this behaviour of getting ahead of themselves? They even done it last season. God bless them. When they thought they were going to win the Champions League, a couple of fans had shirts printed with
Real Madrid
Champions League winners Arsenal 2025, which soon come back to bite them on the arse. I was very
because they beat Real Madrid, didn't they, bro? That's why that came from that.
Yeah. There's a small part of me can see why he was so emboldened by knocking the mighty Real Madrid out, but the mighty PSG was still in it for them, unfortunately.
Now look at them today, bro. They're losing 2-1 now. Is it Helio? I think Helio's saying 2-1 now. So
2-1.
That's football, bro. One day you're the talk of the town. Next day you're jobless in sitting on the pavement. That's football. That's life, and that's why I don't really take humans seriously, man. The humans are a joke. Let's be serious now, man. Come on, like what's going on here?
It's still
That's why I don't disrespect Slot, because Slot won us the Premier League last season. Hence why I've not disrespected him. It's as simple as that, bro. He won us the Premier League, number 20. Fair play to
everyone says, it was Klopp's players. But, do you know what I mean? He made that change of putting Grav in, putting Lucho in the false 9 because he wasn't happy with Darwin. And he also, what else did he do? You know, we managed to get like a full season out of Ibra, and it worked, didn't it? He got the league. That's why I'd never call him a fraud. If he was a fraudulent manager, he wouldn't have won the league. But what I will say is, like, I think we overestimated his abilities after last season, and that's fair enough. You know, winning the league at his first attempt, you thought, oh, this guy could be special. But the second season, it's been that cliche, hasn't it, of the difficult second season. I mean, to say it's been difficult is an understatement. It's been torturous, hasn't it, at times for us fans?
Yeah.
But I just feel now, after he's had that rocky patch, he's looking better. I just felt the Bournemouth and the Man City game were a letdown. I think if we got them 2 wins there, he would be having an all right season after the calamity we had earlier on. Yeah. But I just feel sometimes Szoboszlai and Slot are 2 characters who are main guys in the club who look after number 1. Like, I like Szoboszlai, he's a top lad, but I think if Real Madrid offered him a place in their team, he'll take it tomorrow. And not every player is like that. Virgil isn't like that. Salah isn't like that. But I just feel people like McAllister, Szoboszlai maybe, they're like that, and even Slot. And I don't like that in football. Like, you got to be, like we're talking about loyalty. Loyalty is a Jurgen Klopp. You know, I've heard some bullshit today, even that Man United and Chelsea were after him after he left us. You know, this is the rubbish that's out there now. This is what I heard exactly today, that Jurgen Klopp's agent was contacted by United and Chelsea after he left Liverpool to take over them. What he would not even take that job if they offered him $1 billion a week. Let's be serious now. He would never, ever, ever. We know Jurgen Klopp, and one thing he would never, ever do is go to Man United. You can offer him $1 billion a week, he wouldn't do it. So, like, football media is a joke. Hence why I got respect people like you, 12th, and, you know, who you just say the real things. I've never heard you really talk about transfers or about this or that. Real media, this is. You know, fans as well, like who are in the chat. They're proper fans, man. No, I've never ever come across our chat ever disrespecting players and going after them and doing agendas and stuff like that. Real football fans don't do agendas. I've always said that.
They're wearing the shirt just as Arnie is still our manager, and you've got to give all the support you can, even those that very, very, you know, fervently want Arnie out the door. You've still got to support him in every match. You know, it's no use saying, oh, I hope we don't qualify the Champions League now so we can get rid of him. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that crap. Yeah.
That's silly. That's silly.
Yeah. But the people have said it, bro. I've heard people say it. I want to lose the next game so he's gone. And that, for me, is no real football fan of Liverpool. Yeah, man. Look, Slot, at the end of the day, he's dug his own grave in a weird sort of way because of his trying to portray an image of he's a serious guy and that. But at the end of the day, football fans don't give a damn. They just want you to win. And when you win, your image is made for you there and then. You know? Trying to pick on players so you can portray the world that you're a serious guy is also not a good thing for me. Jurgen Klopp
See,
never did
under
that.
Klopp, like, we were always able to shake off bad form and get out of a rut. If we were in a rut for a short period under Klopp, and half the time it was due to unforeseen circumstances, such as the injury crisis at centre-back in 2020. But he was always able to dust himself down and say, right, come on, let's get back on the right track. Slot's found it really hard this season to, I think, motivate them, inspire them to get out of a rut. So we've continued to sort of be in patchy form for months on end now. Just when we think like we've turned the corner with a good win or a good performance, like the Arsenal performance away, we mess it up when we try to get a few good performances in a row. This has got to change, or else we will be playing Europa League football. I noticed Union St. Gilles were in the Champions League this year. Remember we played them, and like Kevin McAllister played for them, Alexis's brother. But they're the type of teams that can play in the Champions League.
What was that, USG, right?
Yeah, USG, yeah, his brother played for him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin McAllister, weren't he in Home Alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking. I think he was.
He McAllister, he called his brother Keviso. He goes, yes, Keviso. Like, hey, Keviso.
But I think that was Joe Pesci's, one of my favourite Joe Pesci films, Home Alone. Just a different type of Joe Pesci, you know what I mean? We need Joe Pesci up front.
Yeah.
But I think what's his name? Rest in peace, Robert Duvall, the guy from Godfather.
Yes, Robert Duvall, 95.
Yeah, he passed away. And he's a big football fan, he was. I've seen an interview with him today where he's next to Ali McCoist and they're having a laugh and they're talking about football and that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he was very good, Robert Duvall, in the right role. I liked him in Falling Down. His role in Apocalypse Now was too brief, you know what I mean? Charlie Don't Surf and all that. He only had a few lines. You only seen him for a glimpse. But he's just a brilliant actor, Robert Duvall, and he can play any type of character.
He's a quiet type, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He usually plays a quiet guy who gets the job done.
That's what we need in midfield, bro. Rest in peace, man.
So are you with Slot? Or excuse me, are you with Nickel in thinking that this has been a brutal run? September to November, we lost to Palace, lost to Galatasaray, lost to United. We've lost 3-0 to Forest. We lost 4-1 to PSV. And then now, because we're starting to pick up a little, we go into this quote unquote unbeaten streak. And now that we're back in the driver's seat, I guess, with our own destiny, or being able to provide our own destiny with the FA Cup and possibly with the league, with the Champions League. If he wins the cup, is that everything? Is that all he needs? And is it the fact of he has to say, oh, the team's improving. As long as you win the cup and the team's improving, and give him another year? Or are you looking at, thank you for getting us through the season. Thank you for absolutely doing what you've done the season previous to for us as well. But I would like to see a change in direction for this team. Are you at that level? Shout out to Lady B, by the way, in the house. Big up, Lady B.
Oh, bless up, Bernadette. Hope you're cool.
Hi, Bernie.
Great to see you. Look, for me, bro, Arne Slot, he needs to realise which club he's at. Sometimes I think he don't realise, you know what I mean? In the way he talks and the way he behaves. Press conferences, like, it's Liverpool Football Club. Even Smokey says. And that's what it is for me. He don't realise which club he's at here. You know, it's Liverpool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is.
Speaking of Elvis in the chat, isn't there a player called Elvis we discovered last season? I think we see the player called Elvis something or other playing for someone, which tickled me. I can't remember what club it was though. He might have been Brazilian, but like he was in Europe or something.
I don't know. I know that there is some good news. Let's talk about some good news. So the good news is this: Jaden Danns is due for another fitness check. He's been out for 5 months. Got a hamstring injury. He's had multiple setbacks. He's had back injuries. He's working on the outdoor pitch once again. And Slot previously said if fit, he would have been in the squad, which is fantastic to hear. I'm excited about that, and I'm hopeful that Jaden can get his fitness back to a level where we can actually see him regain some type of semblance with the team. I'll tell you what's even equally, if not really, really uplifting news is that Alexander Isak was who's been sidelined, obviously, and Danns is with his sideline. Danns would have been picking up those minutes, which is unlucky because obviously, that window is slowly but surely closing. But our 125 million pound striker, who had the ankle injury, the fractured fibula, is back in the gym. He's doing light ball work. He's returning. His return target is set to be for April, early May. There's no real set timeline, but that is the return target that they're trying to possibly get involved in his stratosphere or his orbit. That's at least exciting to hear. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Comeback trail, it's encouraging to see him, working out, and after a while he'll be able to turn sharper and all that business, won't he? And hopefully, we have the best of him for next season, and hopefully he can help us at the end of this season, possibly. Maybe he could be fit for the FA Cup final if we got there. Maybe he could be fit for a Champions League quarter if we got that far. Who knows?
It is true. I know Barney says she can't see Danns getting a chance with Arnie, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just going by what his words were. Arnie Slot said that if he was with the team, that he would have been able to be seen some type of minutes. Considering
I was talking about Isak when I was saying get him back for next season. I forgot we were talking about Danns. Yeah, it's been tough on Danns because after that season where we won the League Cup and we were going for the quad, he's had too many injuries, hasn't he, for him to be, and he would have got football, he would have got minutes because he showed he knew where the goal was when we played him in the early FA Cup rounds. I think we played Stoke or some shit and he scored and another team. But it's been tough for him, hasn't it, to be fitting in the squad. Others have nudged ahead of him now, haven't they?
Yeah. Big up, Jimmy. Jimmy in the house. Big up, big up. There's been a lot of talk though about also some of the other players. I spoke about the Yan Diomande. I know that there's talks out there that said that Yan Diomande at Liverpool is his dream. He clarified that by saying it's his dad's dream. Okay, it's his dad's favorite club. He wanted to clarify that because he's playing for RB Leipzig, so of course he made a point of it.
Yeah, that he was honest. He came out and said, "Look, it's not me, it's me dad. He's a big Liverpool fan." But that's nice to hear.
Yeah, that helps because I'm sure his dad's going to be, somewhat impactful in shaping.
Oh, mate, he looks a really good player. If he could translate that into the Premier League with that pace and direct running, the trickery he's got, it'd be really good.
100 million pounds is a 100 million pound evaluation. It's a little bit tough.
Mate, they've gone off their rockers there. Leipzig, don't know what they're up to there.
Elite dribbler, 19 years old, fantastic player. Certainly will be keeping an eye on the player. Definitely so.
I remember Leipzig in a European final when I was a kid. I was supporting Ajax because they played Ajax. It was a locomotive Leipzig, the old communist team. It's not this club. This is an entirely different club. But I was interested, you know, because they were East German. And that way.
Let's have some fun with something I saw online, and it was interesting. All right. I'm going to give you this question. You ever play the game? It's called Start One, Bench One, Sell One. You ever heard that?
No, I haven't played that.
That's something they play. They do quite a bit on ESPN FC. And it's an easy concept, obviously. It speaks for itself. You're going to start one, you're going to bench one, and you're going to have to sell one of these players. I'm going to ask you, Lee. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
Okay, this is why I don't play these new games because, like, it's hard to do. But I will.
Okay, good. No scare business here. All right. So start one, bench one, sell one. These three players. It's tough.
As a start, Bobby, bench Hugo, and sell Daniel. Going on the injury record, which is a bit cruel on Daniel with the injury record. Like Bobby was always fit, and because Hugo's the man in possession, he's our striker now. We'll back him. Sorry, Daniel, but you're getting sold. It was, you know, you can go to Europe or something because you've already played for City and Chelsea, ain't you?
All right. You with us, JK? All right, I don't know if JK's with us or not.
Could you repeat that, Brett?
I'd love to see what the chat says, and if you don't get an opportunity to say it, you can always just leave it in the comments who you would start, bench, and sell. So you have to start one, bench one, sell one of these three players.
Start one, Bobby. Bench one. Not actually. Yeah. Start one, Bobby. Bench one, Sturridge. Sell one, Ekatike. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought I was going to be alone in that. And that's no disrespect to Ekatike. No one wants to sell Ekatike. Don't get it twisted. But Ekatike probably is the player you get the most money for. So that's probably what I would go with that. But agreed. I would start Bobby, bench Sturridge, and I would have to unfortunately sell Ekatike to cash in, because that guy is you could probably make more than the 80 million that we spent on him at this moment. You could make over 100 million if you wanted to put Ekatike on the market right at this moment. Tough one.
Bobby could play any striker, couldn't he? Really, like you could put Sturridge's movement and pace, Hugo with his movement and pace. You could definitely be a double act, or part of a three, two players out of a three, couldn't they?
There was some controversy over the FA Cup. I know some were saying that they enjoyed the FA Cup without the VAR. Some were saying, oh, this is just reassurance that VAR is needed, because I enjoyed VAR not being a part of the game for FA Cup. Don't get it twisted. But I will say this, because of such, this play right here ends up getting marked as being offsides. It's a shame. Make it a little bit bigger for you there.
So it's his knee. His leading knee or some shit, is it?
No, he's on sides.
I know, yeah. Right, he's on side. You could see it. I saw it instantly and knew that was horse shit when Rio finished. I thought he's on side there. I thought they'll give this, they'll look at this and give it, and he didn't.
But there's no VAR, so there's no looking.
Why was there no VAR? The FA Cup at Anfield, the 4th round. What's that about?
They don't make it. They don't bring it in until I think the semifinals.
Mate, that's a stupid rule. Oh, we have it later on, but we don't have it now. I mean, who made that crap up? It's something that we have, and like, put it in.
Yeah. It was unfortunate because that was a phenomenal goal, by the way.
It was a tidy finish.
Rio. I don't like, there's so many different resources on X, some of them not legit at all. One of them being, I think it's called, I want to say Anfield Papers, I think it's called, or something like that. Because
Remember how Diaz was on side of that thing at Spurs? That's what that reminds me of, looking at that. That isn't quite as severe. Hugo isn't as blatantly onside as Diaz was. But I mean, the linesman, if he was looking down the line, he's obviously looked after the ball's been played. He's watched the ball being played, and then he's looked up and he's always offside. He's not looking when the ball was actually struck, I think.
Yeah. It puts human error into it massively, and it also has some connection to what Lady B is saying. The lower league clubs or teams that don't play at our level that are required to have the VAR because of Premier League. If you go to the Premier League, you have to
afford to lend them a VAR for the day. Yeah, here's your VAR for the day. We've got loads of money from the top league, and we're bringing it to Cowshed Lane or whatever it's called to do the VAR.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, it does not work like that. You would have to install cameras that don't just go with you. They're not mobile units or something. There was another conversation. Go ahead.
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say, there was another conversation out there that was very interesting to me, in that Bayern Munich apparently reached out to Florian Wirtz's dad to signal their interest in a future move for Florian Wirtz. Now, why I thought this was interesting is because his dad told them bluntly that the German international plans to spend the majority of his career at Liverpool. Done and done. And I thought that was fantastic to hear. But
if that was the case, he would have talked to them before he came to Liverpool. He would have gone to Bayern. Simple as that.
Exactly.
I don't know where did he hear man got his news. He should go to Bayern Munich in January. Like, come on, man. Like, footballers can't have a bit of time just to get used to the different world, different country, different language, different football, everything. The patience in fans or just in people in nowadays is non-existent, man. I had no worries about Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, got through a few knockout rounds and drew Bayern. We know who was scheduled to play, don't we? 1 of 4 in the last 16. Then it's quarters and semis, but we could come up against Bayern. We haven't for a while, not since the season when we won it. We had Bayern.
Yeah, that was a top.
I just thought it was.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting
let's look for red armchair.
That Bayern Munich are just not going to give up on their wonder boy. They're just not going to give up. This is the source is Bayern Space, apparently. But
it's probably one of their fans. Bro, there's this lad, he's a Bayern Munich fan and he's a content creator. You should have seen the hate he had for Liverpool because we got worse. I'm like, bro, like, yeah, we beat you in your stadium and Mane scored that beautiful goal from Van Dijk's pass. Yeah, be angry. But that thing,
we had Europe in the 81 semi-final before we took care of Madrid in Paris. Bayern were the victims. And Bayern have lost, haven't they, to all the English clubs they played in the final? Chelsea, Man United. Is there another one? I know Forest beat Hamburg, won it. I think Kevin Keegan's Hamburg. But it ain't gone well for Munich against English clubs when it comes to a big game.
Yep, but I don't know. I just don't worry about Bayern Munich, bro, because the league they're in, you've got Dortmund in there, Leipzig, whatever. But I think when Bayern Munich play a good team, it's a bit of a surprise to their normal game because they're not used to other teams taking control of games. So that's why for me, Bayern
all right, hasn't it, for Vinny Company? He's doing okay. Like,
no, he's doing right.
Yeah.
He won the league last year.
I'll be really
probably win it again this year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To see the draw now. Is it true we could end up with Atletico Madrid or one of the four we could end up with?
I think it's Galatasaray, Juventus, probably Galatasaray after today's roll.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Atletico Madrid and is it Bodo Glimt, is it? Yeah.
No, I think Atletico Madrid play Benfica or someone Portuguese.
No, they're playing Real Madrid. Bodo Glimt are playing Atletico.
Real Madrid are playing again, Benfica. They've already beat Atletico.
Yeah, that's the mad one. They're playing again.
No way.
Yep, and that's how they got through because they scored an extra goal. Benfica did, and that's how they got through, isn't it? But for me, I don't know. Real Madrid haven't been great. Champions League's there to be won. Look at PSG 2-2 tonight. But
is that away or in Paris?
It's away in Monaco, yeah.
Shame it wasn't in Paris. They'll probably
that would have been good.
Paris.
Yeah,
I remember Monaco getting to the final against Porto when Mourinho won it with Porto, and Monaco got finalists, didn't he? There was Morientes and a few others in the team.
Yeah, but do you reckon like managers like Mourinho are going to come back? You know, managers with character, because Arne Slot's not a great character such as he. Nor is
he's a little bit of a one-off. Mourinho, wasn't he? There's not many like him. He said what he wanted when he wanted, like, and it was good value. He was a good pantomime villain, you know, saying shit about Liverpool regularly, like, and that. But you knew really, like, he understood, you know, about English footy and that. I remember he come out with that one. There's too many ex-Liverpool players as pundits. It's like, all right, mate. We were successful for decades when you were like being relegated and promoted, relegated and promoted. There is a reason, Jose. But he was good value for, you know, he said some funny things as well and continues to. He got stuck into Pep, didn't he? He's got a feud with Pep. Said at least the stuff I won wasn't from cheating.
I like the one when have you seen that meme where I think the fourth official comes over to him and his assistant and they start running after him. It's a classic. He's a classic.
Yeah. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, there's a meme, bro, when it's in a game and Mourinho's running after the linesman or something. I need to find it, bro. It's a killer. So funny.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love to see that. Oh man, that's a funny one.
He liked
there was
I'll send it. Yeah, I got it.
There was like he had a feud with Wenger, didn't he, Marine? He had a feud with everyone. Not really Fergie, not so much like because he knew what Fergie was like. He didn't bother going there, but he had a feud with Rafa, had a feud with Wenger. Funny though.
The Conte Tuchel one was funny. You remember that one? Conte and Tuchel. That was big mad.
That was mad.
That was big mad. That one.
Yeah.
Nowadays, managers can't even leave their box, bro. You understand what they're trying to do to football? It's like they're so trying to put all these new rules in. Like the manager can't leave his box; he'll get a yellow card. The manager's getting sent off more than players nowadays, man.
Yeah,
like come on.
He's become
it's ridiculous, man. The manager's in charge of the team. He needs to move up and down wherever he wants to fucking go to win that game. Yeah, if he's going over the top, running onto the pitch and that, yeah, give him a yellow card, but he can't leave that box. What is he, a dog? Like, come on, man.
He's become much better in my eyes, Mourinho, like since he's not the enemy anymore. When he was Chelsea manager twice, then United manager. But now he ain't anything like that. His eulogy for Jota was really nice. That was really kind-hearted and came from the heart, like that. And
he is Portuguese, so that makes sense.
When he was United boss, was hilarious about football heritage. You know what football heritage is, yes? You understand football heritage, and he kept repeating it about United have been shit for ages. I was like, go ahead.
He said, Rick.
I think that they're looking. There's a VAR ruling being made in that PSG Monaco game. Let's see what happens.
Come on,
by the way, Galatasaray winning 5-2 over Juventus.
What a game, bro! What a game! I watched it. What a game, man!
Fancy Gala for that, because Juventus is so rubbish these days. They're usually rubbish.
I love their kit, bro. The kit they were wearing, it was really nice. Like, but the team collapsed. They were 2-1 up. Coop Miner's got 2 goals, and then what happened was they changed their left back because he got a yellow card. The new guy he came on, bro, he got a red card, and he just disaster he was. But Galatasaray, fair play to him. They needed them goals to take to Juventus. You know, when like you can go look at us against Barca, 3-0 down, bang, we did it 4-3. That can happen in Champions League. So Galatasaray, the more goals they got was the better for them. So they got 5.
Yeah, I don't like.
Yeah, but they meet
Monaco down to 10 men. By the way, they just got a red card.
Oh, that's done then. That's done.
2-2, 48th minute and 49th minute, and now down to 10 men.
Yeah, the Osman said he's going to play the Champions League, then he'll come over. Norman. That's what I've heard. That's the latest.
Dortmund up 2-0 against Atlanta.
But fair play to Osman today. He likes to win and he gets involved in the game. Type of guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you get some players who don't just talk, they don't do nothing. They just pass the ball and that's about it. But at least with him, you can tell he wants to win. You know what I mean?
It was definitely when
nothing.
Yeah, Galatasaray.
Real Madrid 1-0.
When Galatasaray knocked United out of I think it was the Champions League early in Fergie's reign, like his first attempt at it or some shit. Galatasaray knocked them out. And I think he beat them the next season as well. It's about 94, so 95.
No, Real Madrid. It'd be nice if Real Madrid and PSG get knocked out this round. Come on. You know what I mean?
Be nice. Be nice.
If it ain't going to happen at home, if the teams can't do it at home, it's going to be difficult, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Benfica got a 2-3-0 today. Something can happen, but 1-0.
Benfica is at home right now. And what's interesting about this game, let's see what it looks like right now, but what's interesting about this game is by bringing Benfica to the knockout stages of the Champions League, Jose Mourinho has done something that no other manager has done. He is the first manager in history to take charge of 7 different teams in the Champions League. knockout
Oh,
stages.
gosh.
That's
mad.
That's incredible.
Should we
Can
name?
you name a 7?
Well, we go Chelsea. You got Porto, Real Madrid,
United.
United are not in it, bro.
No.
Milan.
No. He
Inter
did.
Milan, yeah.
He did
Inter
take
Milan.
them to the knockouts. He did take them to the knockout stages. So United is one of them.
Oh, okay. Benfica,
Benfica. Yep.
Porto, yeah.
Was he managing Fenerbahce? Something got down.
Yeah, but you didn't get them to the Champions League.
That's why he sacked them, wasn't
it? 2 other teams. You're missing 2 teams. You said Chelsea, Porto, Real, Man U,
Tottenham,
Inter, Liverpool,
Tottenham,
Inter and United. So that's 5, and we need 2.
You got them. You got them all. Inter and
got them all, yeah.
Yep, that's it. It's pretty wild. So it's a pretty wild list.
That's a big list of teams, bro. If I was a football manager, I wouldn't have that. I want a resume like that. I just want to be sort of like a Jurgen Klopp, like Dortmund, Liverpool child. You know, yeah. I wouldn't want to change jobs all the time as well within the club. Like I would want to stay at a club at least 5 years to at least get something done. Like I'm not a big fan of changing managers every 2 years, sort of thing. That's why everyone was behind Slot, because they didn't want to do that. I think that sort of he should have been happy with that. Like Liverpool ain't a club to sack a manager. He should appreciate that. You know what I mean? Unless your name's Brendan Rodgers.
The Inter win was very, very impressive from Jose, wasn't it? Like, because Inter hadn't done anything like that in years, and even when they did do it years ago, it was because of cheating, which was proven. Never trust the Italians, mate. In football, bunch of cheats.
This game has descended into chaos, is what is being said by Trudon.
Which one, bro?
That's a good question. I don't know which one.
I think he's
watching Real Madrid. I think he's watching Real Madrid because he just said Vinicius Jr. scored too earlier, so I think he's watching that game. It is
always a good matchup, Spain, Portugal in a club one, because like
Real Benfica, he's watching.
Yeah, I mean they're much better than Benfica, but it sounds like it's a tight game.
But last time round, bro, Benfica beat Real Madrid a few weeks ago. I think it was 3-2 or 4-2, something like that.
Yeah. There was something that I saw. I know people always tell me, do not go to talk sport. I get that. I understand that. But there was something that was brought up, and it was Pennant brought it up. And why I am bringing it up myself is because it was an interesting take that I'm trying to, let me see if I can, I was looking to see if I can find the actual, okay, here it is. Jamie O'Hara, do you know who that is?
Ex-Tottenham, yeah.
Right. He was on with Jermaine Pennant, and they were talking about defenders, and apparently in Jamie O'Hara's opinion, Virgil van Dijk is not as good as John Terry. Now, what was very interesting
oh God,
yeah.
Look at the level O'Hara plays at. He only ever had a couple of games.
I'm better than him, Jamie O'Hara. Come on, man, I've seen him. No problem.
He was adamant about it, by the way, which was very interesting. Like to the point where they were like,
but bro, quickly, do you think there's humans out there who are willing to come out with bullshit like that So people talking about him. Now we're talking about Jamie O'Hara. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about the idiot.
It's
That's how it is now.
Yeah,
I know. I only barely, vaguely remember him, and it's only because his name's O'Hara, so it's stuck in your mind, like.
Hi there, Gene. Hope you're cool.
Yes, Jean Grey in the house. Big up to one of our Reds queens in the house. Big up, big up.
Hi, Gene.
Racial abuse. Ooh, that's not good. Objects thrown at Vinny. Not good at all. Oof. O'Hara was average at best. Well, apparently, in O'Hara's opinion, Virgil van Dijk is somewhat average at best because he was off about how much better John Terry was to Virgil van Dijk. And it was funny because Jermaine brought up the fact of how when he was at Leeds, he put John Terry on his keister, he said, with one of his goals. And the fact of the matter is that, he knows a little something about going up against quality center halves, and he's not saying this simply because of his Liverpool allegiance. It's more so that he honestly does think that. And I thought it was funny because it goes to the questions that we were talking about on Quasi's show, where we were talking about the 5 center halves that we all believe are top 5 center halves. I do have John Terry in top 5, by the way, but I don't have him as high as some would possibly think. I believe I had John Terry 4th on my list, but it's just interesting. It's so interesting. I don't understand why people think that pound for pound, if you were to choose between Virgil van Dijk and John Terry, I know that Virgil van Dijk has had somewhat of a spell recently, but one thing that a lot of people often reference is the fact that the man is 34 years old. At 34 years old, Rio, for instance, who is sometimes referred to as the greatest Premier League center half in the history of the Premier League, at least, by few or some, not by me, but by some. It's just interesting that at 34, Rio was playing for QPR at that time of the stage of his career.
That's an interesting comparison, isn't it? Like, put that up against Virgil, what Rio was up to at that age. Totally different ball game, innit? I don't know where he's coming from saying Terry was better. Terry was very good, but he's got his blue socks mixed up with his red socks there, hasn't he, in the draw? He meant to say Virgil was better, and he put those blue socks and put them on.
Yeah, but I remember Quasi saying that he had SCN and who's the other lad? SCN and Bekelele in front of him, John Terry. You know what I mean? Hence why he looked better than he probably what he was.
Maybe.
DMs make a big difference, bro. DMs, if you've got a top DM, your job as a half is sort of 30% easier, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Jesse Jackson, man.
Yeah, it was a wild take, but I know that Norm going a little overboard.
I think he's more coming from the point of view that like Rio and Terry are English and Virgil's a foreigner. You know what I mean? So we can't be having like he's better than these two English lads.
Maybe that could be a good view of it. It was just interesting to hear that point. And I was like, there's absolutely no way I would think that. I mean, look, I do get that John Terry has a larger history in the Premier League. He's got over 160 some odd more appearances. 60, 100 and let's see, 165 more appearances.
Well, that's a lot.
Right. Yeah.
He was fortunate that he played with Desai when he come into the team because he learned a lot of Desai.
Yeah.
He was a really good centre-half, commanding and all that one. Possibly would have made a good partnership with Virgil, like, because they've got different talents. But, yeah, he was very good. Can't deny it. But he did have a lot of good players around him. Like you said, Makelele in front of him came into the team alongside Desai, which, you know, he was the best centre-half in Europe. But for me, at the time still, when he was at Chelsea.
But the thing about what it is that you know, obviously someone will point on the fact that he's got 2 league titles. Terry's got 5, which is exceptional. The fact that Virgil van Dijk's got 27 goals, Terry's got 41, which is a nod towards Terry as being certainly a contributor.
This goes in his favour. Obviously, he did win more. There's only like so much you can say about, you know, well, he was playing for the money club. Yeah, that's true, but you know, he had to still do the business on the pitch, didn't he? And that's interesting that he scored. Yeah, he scored more goals.
Here, I'll bring up the stat for you. I was just gonna say though, it says something though that yes, he scored a lot more goals, 14 more goals than Virgil. He's got 3 more titles, but then again, he's also played 65 more games.
More games, yeah, 160 odd more games. Like so,
that's nearly 4. That's an additional 4 seasons, practically. You know, of games. So he's played in the league for 4 additional seasons than him.
Yeah, it was a long time, his career. Played with lots of different centre-backs.
Yeah. It's just one wild perspective of it. What was else? Is there anything else on your mind, guys, that you got going on with some of the topics that are being brushed around the internet?
Just that we need to get the points off Forest at the weekend. Is it Saturday 3 o'clock game, the Forest one?
I believe so. I will find out for you.
Yeah, well, we need them points anyway. We need them badly because Chelsea and United. Okay, still on the new manager bounce thing. Whether that will last for the rest of the season, I don't know. But we've got to win, regardless of what the others do. We've got to win, but we do have to look at the others now because it's that tight, isn't it? Like in that race for the last 2 places. I think Villa, City, obviously Arsenal, City and Villa have got from the top 3 places sewn up, I reckon. But it's the other 2 now, isn't it, for us? Starting with Forest. Who's the player? Is it Vitor Pereira that they brought in as stopgap? Forest.
For Forest, they have brought in one second, see what they brought in.
Vitor Pereira.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah, he's always had that Forest chairman, isn't he? The way he got rid of Nuno, like he fell out with him after all Nuno did last season. They had the best season Forest have probably ever had since Brian Clough. And then he sacked him.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough one still, because Forest is not an easy place to play. Considering that Forest beat us 3-0 already this season.
I feel we owe them one for that. Like, without a doubt, that was painful. And the other one last season, the other one was a bloody nose because it was the only game we lost before we won the title. Won it Forest, the Forest one. And it was our home as well. So we've had a bloody nose off them twice, and it's about time we put our guard up, you know. Don't want a third one.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to. It would be nice if we could start making some revenge games. It would be nice to have that. What is
Well,
it?
we've got West Ham, haven't we? Then we've got Wolves. So you would think that if we were ever likely to go on a run, it would be now. I've predicted that we would turn the corner a few times, and we haven't. But we have to now to get Champions League. We're down to the nitty gritty now, aren't we? We're down to the we've got to scrap for everything, scrap for every point. Try and get 3 points as often as possible. Because anything less, we play in Europa League, and that would be bad.
It would be. I think it would be an untenable position to have to face Europa competition again, considering that we are, coming off a time that we were supposed to be defending champions of the Premier League. It would be certainly difficult.
Yeah, got to be getting in on that vengeance act against Forest. in this life, not the next one, though.
It would be. We need more goals because goal differential could finish out the chances. It could be. We do have to pick it up. We certainly have to pick it up. Our goal differential is pretty poor at the moment. Pretty poor. I think we're at like +6. +6 in goal differential. We could use some big games where we start to not only get clean sheets, but also put some goals on the board for us to start picking up that goal differential. Because Chelsea sit at +17, even United sit at +10 currently. That has to be. We have to have something done with that. We have to definitely have something done with that. Think of one thing. There was something that I saw that I did. I know people were questioning who the player, or not player, excuse me, who the person was that was wearing the seagull costume at the FA Cup game. He was a very big topic on a lot of people's minds. And I'll give you this. We're gonna end our show here with a little bit of Red Zen. This is the Red Zen, at least a little bit of Red Zen that I can give you. I can give the reveal of the person that it is. So before I do, JK, would you like to say something to the people before we bounce?
Peace to all the chat. Great to see everyone in there. Top lads. And Gene as well. Great to see you as well. Hope you're cool.
Lee, would you like to say something to the people?
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in. We'll see you again. And I can't wait to see what Seagull Man looks like, the real Seagull Man. I am on 10 now.
Right. Here we go. Here
he
it
should do it
is.
for years and then do a big show about it.
Mate, is he a train driver, Seagull Man?
This is Seagull Man right here. There you have it. There you have it.
Have you seen them videos of seagulls where they'll walk into like a bakery, and if there's something low on the shelves, they'll grab it and run off? they've cottoned onto the automatic opening doors. Hilarious videos.
Yeah. Funny costume. We'll just have to wait to see. He wasn't wearing, it ends up being he wasn't wearing a costume. It wasn't a seagull helmet, or a seagull mask. He was wearing a human costume. That was Mr. Seagull. But who knows if we ever get the reveal? I'm sure there'll be someone that tries to get the real name or face that is associated behind the mask. But we will be back tomorrow. There's games on tomorrow too, as well. These games right now currently, let's see. Currently, it's 3-2. PSG is just taking the lead in that game, by the way. 72nd minute. Monaco down to 10 men. 1-0 still for Benfica. Real Madrid winning that game right now. Real Madrid ahead. And still 2-0 over Atalanta. Dortmund is at home enjoying a 2-0 lead in that game. So we will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, X and StreamYard will be able to play nicely, and we'll be able to get back some more of the numbers that we normally see. But again, Karabag, Newcastle, Bodo Glimt, Inter, Bruges, Club Bruges, Atletico Madrid, Olympiacos, Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Club Bruges, Leverkusen, Olympiacos. Those are later on. Excuse me. Those are the later games. So the only other games that we have left will be the Karabag Newcastle game, Bodo Glimt, Inter, Club Bruges, Atletico Madrid, Olympiacos, Leverkusen, and that's it. Those are the only games. Yeah. So we have 3 more games scheduled for tomorrow. We had 4 today. 1, 2, 3, 4 games, scheduled for tomorrow. 4 today. We'll see how it rounds out. Do you guys want to do a quick pick on winners on those games, or do you want to hold off? We could do it backstage.
Which one for tomorrow, Brett?
For tomorrow's games?
Newcastle, for me, a draw.
Okay. All right.
I reckon a draw. Why aren't they Newcastle first?
Mm-hmm.
Who else is playing tomorrow?
Bodo Glimt versus Inter. Bodo Glimt is at home.
I'll go for Bodo to win. Inter,
Wow. Mm-hmm. Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
No, Inter's not. Bodo Glimt's at home.
Yeah. All right, go for Bodo Glimt.
Okay.
On their own pitch. They done City, didn't they? Didn't he win in Atletico Madrid as well to go through, which was a mad one? He went away and did it.
Yeah. Let's see. And Club Bruges, Atletico Madrid.
Atletico.
Okay.
Yeah, Atletico. Mind you, it's in Belgium. Bruges got a chance.
That's why I think I'm going to pick Club Bruges in that one.
They've been sketchy, haven't they? Atletico. I mean, we did have them, didn't we, in the group stage and managed to beat them. Not a team I want, though, if they're a possibility in the round. They're the worst possibility out of the 4 that we could have.
And then the last one is Olympiacos versus Leverkusen. It's going to be interesting because I think that's.
What position is Leverkusen in Bundesliga this season?
You'd have to ask.
He hired and fired Ten Hag within about 2 weeks, didn't he? Which was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question. Leverkusen 1-0. That's what Red Armchair Supporter says. What do you say in that game? It's the last one.
Leverkusen, yeah. To win over Olympiacos.
Okay. It will be Olympiacos at home, keep in mind. JK, you got a pick for that one before we bounce? You said Olympiacos. You said Atletico Madrid. Okay. Or should we Leverkusen? You said in that one. I think JK is unavailable for his pick. Hopefully he'll give one before we sign. Well, we're going to sign off now, but before we completely leave the studio. All right, people, we're going to bounce. Do this correct by saying thank you for joining us. Definitely going to join us tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some subjects and topics that we can get into the middle of really getting involved in the conversation about. Until then, peace. What do they say? Peace and hair grease or something like that. But all the same, up the Reds each and every time. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic, fantastic day. Enjoy your Tuesday night, if that it is what it is. And we will see you guys tomorrow. But until tomorrow, definitely take care.